Wish should have been the easiest win in history. This was meant to be a return to form for Disney. As their 100th anniversary film, it should have been a celebration, a reminder of all of the great stories that a company as storied as Disney had provided us with for a century now. Instead, Wish became a reminder of something far more somber. A reminder of a company known for its ups and downs, for its sacrifice of art for the pursuit of the dollar, and the fact that those within the company don't seem to understand why the brand is what it is. What Wish is the worst Disney movie, and let's celebrate their centennial by burning them this effigy. Just look at this thing. I mean, really look at it. I popped in the movie, and I swear to God, I thought I was looking at a Let's Play of some shitty PlayStation 3 game. I kid. I actually thought this was a PlayStation 2 game, because I've seen better cell shading in PlayStation 2 games. Seriously, at the best of times, this movie looks like a Dragon Quest knockoff. You ever play those Walking Dead games, where they use this design gimmick to make them look like graphic novels? Those shouldn't look better than a mainstream Disney film from a decade later, right? As soon as the trailer hit the scene, this was the biggest point of contention with Wish. It just looks wrong. It wasn't in a way that was easy to describe, but this movie plunged straight into the uncanny valley. Of course, that was just the trailer. You could make an argument that it was just badly selected shots, or the movie simply wasn't done yet. I made that claim myself, and honestly, even today, I think I'm gonna stick by that claim, because I just don't think they finished the movie for the finished product. Within the first 10 minutes of this film, you could tell that something is just visually wrong here. Just look at the way that Asha moves here. To call this movie's animation bad would be inaccurate. I can tell that they put a lot of effort into the animation. It does a lot of creative things with lighting and shadow. The models are all fine and the characters are well designed. The problem here is that this is the best that you can do with a really bad idea, or a bad interpretation of an idea. There's a problem when it comes to celebrating Disney's history, and that's that Disney as a company hates its own history with a flaming passion. This movie is a perfect example as to why. Wish pays homage to many of Disney's classics: Snow White, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Peter Pan. And from there, the company is at an impasse. Those movies were all traditionally animated. But if Disney were to ever do a 2D theatrical animated film again, we'd lose the Cold War. So it's their patriotic duty to stubbornly never ever do a traditionally animated film ever again. I mean, if they were to even consider making a movie that was not CGI, they'd just lose so much fucking money. So how do you get around this? Simple, you use stylization. You make it a 3D film, and instead just make it look like a 2D film. I mean, if Blue Sky figured this out, it shouldn't be an issue, right? Real fire is supposed to look like those fake fireplace things, right? Look, we know what this is supposed to look like. And a movie that looks like this is not supposed to look like bad cell shading. When this big budget Disney film looks worse than the new Fairly Odd Parents reboot, that's a problem. What I was most taken aback by was how many times I noticed how flat the backgrounds look. Like, the backgrounds in this movie have no depth at all. This is especially dumbfounding because Disney, back in its heyday, was famous for his usage of the multiplane. Just look at some of these old films that Wish is trying to pay homage to. With just the screenshot alone, you know where each and every single item in the picture is in three-dimensional space, despite it being a flat 2D image. Meanwhile, you can't do that with this three-dimensional film. And all too often, it looks like the characters are as detached from the background as a YouTube reviewer with a bad blue screen effect. And I know what I'm talking about is in the background. But it's in the background. I should not be noticing this. At least I shouldn't be noticing it this much. Wish is trying to be a hybrid animation. You know, like Treasure Planet or to a lesser extent, Titan AE. Those worked because it's 2D characters interacting with a largely three-dimensional space. This does not work the other way around! Characters in 2D animated Disney films carried themselves and moved a lot differently than the 3D ones. Characters in traditionally animated films moved a lot more deliberately. Even micromotions had to have significant importance to their pose, weight, and action. However, that looks stiff in 3D. So 3D characters tend to be bouncier, they have a lot more subtlety to their motion, and they speak a lot more with their bodies. When you try to make this two-dimensional, it looks fucking ridiculous. The common consensus is that this movie should have been fully 2D if it wanted to pay homage to Disney's classic films and formulas. On the other hand, Tangled exists. You remember that one, right? It was a classic, the Disney princess film that wanted to be a return to the classic Disney Renaissance formula after a turbulent decade in the 2000s. And Tangled managed to succeed without being butt ugly. The reason that Wish is such an aggravating film is because what it's trying to do has been done before, twice. Tangled is literally the movie that Wish wants to be. A princess film with a vibrant color scheme and a fairy tale kingdom with a classic villain that's meant to be a complete return to form. You know, just in 3D. But here's the thing with Tangled. It didn't just decide to be Little Mermaid or Beauty and the Beast. Tangled is its own original story. While it has the tropes and patterns that you'd expect in any given Disney Renaissance film, it doesn't play the story beat for beat. Disney stopped doing a lot of what it did for a reason. Nothing in film is arbitrary. One of the reasons that Shrek became such a big success is because it took the piss out of a lot of the traditional fairy tale story that people were just done with at the time.
She waited in the Dragon's Keep for her true love and true love's first kiss. Like that's ever gonna happen. Somebody.
That didn't suddenly change or go away a decade later. Tangled, Princess and the Frog, and especially Frozen all took their stab at the Disney formula, keeping what people loved, but also finding a place for them in the modern era. Most famously was Frozen's interpretation of what true love meant, letting people know that the era where princesses were saved by the hero's kiss was something that we were going to leave behind in the 90s. Meanwhile, Wish starts with the book. You know, the book. That book. And by the time this intro is over, it's like...
Oh, no, not the book. How many have seen opening the book before? Close the book. We're not doing that.
The biggest problem with Wish is that it just doesn't understand what makes a good Disney film work, and so it claws and prods, and ends up just filling the movie up with references to other Disney films, like this is some Seltzer and Friedberg movie. At one point, Asha is donning the robe of the fairy godmother from Cinderella. Why? Seriously, why? Does this improve the movie in any way? Is Wish a backstory of the fairy godmother of Cinderella? Magnifico becomes the magic mirror. Sort of. We have Peter Pan for absolutely no reason. And then there's this shit.
I dream of a utopian metropolis where all mammals are equal.
It comes across as masturbatory at best, and it makes things that would otherwise be harmless, like drawing Mickey's ears or naming the stoner deer Bambi, come across as forced and distracting. At worst, though, these shoehorned references make the movie worse. So Asha has 7 friends. They each take after the 7 dwarves from Snow White. I could get hung up on the fact that they're homaging the dwarves for no reason, but actually, I'm hung up on the fact that there are 7 of them! Think back to any movie, not just any Disney movie. Any movie ever. How many friends does the main character usually have? Sleeping Beauty has like 7 characters in total. Tangled has Rapunzel, Flynn, Gothel, and the horse, more or less. Most Disney films have 1 or 2 or maybe 3 sidekicks at the most. Abu and Iago, Flounder and Sebastian, Ugly Duckling, Runt, and Fish Out of Water. But fucking 7? Actually, no, fucking 9, because you also have to count Star and the Goat too. This is a problem that should have been noticed like as soon as pen went to paper. Fellowship of the Ring is a 3-hour movie, and some of the only 9 major characters get sidelined in a 3-hour movie. Wish is half that length. This is Happy's Exby. Why is she in the movie? What does she do? How does she improve its quality? What does she contribute to the plot? Grumpy, Doc, and Sleepy are literally the only ones that needed to be here. The others are here because, hey guys, you remember Snow White, right? Come on guys, we used to be cool. I swear, we're sorry for Lightyear, and Raya, and Strange World, and Indiana Jones 5, and Ralph Breaks the Internet, and Frozen 2, and Lion King 2019, and Lion King's quote-unquote live-action sequel. Remember Disney, guys? Please remember Disney! We can't keep making money off of you if you forget Disney! As much as I can complain about the Dwarf Expies, the worst problem is the goat. What does Valentino contribute to the plot? Nothing. 0. Not at all. Valentino is only here because Disney movies have annoying animal sidekicks. This is why people think that ChatGPT wrote this movie, because it knows what's in a Disney movie, but it never stops to think why these things are in Disney animated movies. Why is Asha's mother in the movie? What does she contribute? Why is the Queen in the movie? Actually, that one's a trick question. I know why the Queen is in the movie. The Queen was actually planned to be a villain alongside Magnifico.
Amaya, darling, did you hear me? I am impatient.
I heard you. I'm coming. And lucky for you, I'm devilishly good with a pair of tweezers.
Is that a brag? It's rather weak, but all right.
50 grains, no more, no less.
You know, the movie at one point was actually going to do something new and unique, and honestly, I think they would have been very interesting if they tried to do that. But Wish is so desperate to recapture something that it does not understand. It sacrificed the new, fresh, and interesting for the boring, the pointless, the trite, and the cliché. Speaking of boring, pointless, trite, and cliche, there are only two characters in this movie that actually matter, and both of them have been subject to think piece after think piece after think piece. Asha is a symptom of Disney's adorkable problem. She's just Rapunzel, Mirabelle, or Anna all over again. Asha is worse than that. So, let's ask a few questions. I have to assume that these questions do have answers because you don't write a first draft until you get these answers. Who is Asha? Watching this movie 3 times, I still can't tell. Ariel, rebellious princess. Aladdin, street rat. Jim Hawkins, outcast trying to find his place in the universe. Rapunzel, girl seeing the world for the first time. Asha wants to be an apprentice for the Sorcerer King Magnifico. Why? No, seriously. To the people who watched the movie, hell, to the people who wrote the movie, why does Asha want to become the Sorcerer's Apprentice?
I care too much.
At no point in the entire movie does Asha ever hint any knowledge or interest in learning magic. Towards the end, she almost refuses being granted a magic wand. It's also specifically established that Asha is not becoming Magnifico's apprentice to get her family's wishes granted.
Not that I blame you for trying to cheat the system.
What? I'm not trying to cheat at anything.
Everyone knows the racket. The king's apprentices get their wishes granted, and usually their family's wishes, too.
Sure, at the start of the movie, Asha likes the guy, but everyone likes Magnifico at the start of the movie. Doc even finds the guy attractive. Asha simply has no personality. Just the leftover slop of 2010's Disney protagonists. It's not so much them wanting to write another Rapunzel or another Anna. It's them not wanting to write anything at all, and just zoning in on bits and pieces of what's already been done recently. This comes into a culmination with her song called, I can't believe I'm saying this Wish.
And throw caution to every warning sign.
The soundtrack in this movie, my god. This is the closest thing that we get to an insight of Asha's personality.
I never knew I needed room to grow. Yeah, I did what I was told when someone told me no.
When did this happen? You can't answer this question because this didn't happen. The only 2 times in the movie she was told no is when Magnifico said that he wasn't going to grant her grandfather's wish, and when her grandfather didn't want to hear his wish. And in both cases, Asha is going against what she was told to do.
If I could just be pointed in any given direction on where to go and what to do.
Simba, I want to be king. Hercules, I want the crowds to cheer when they see my face. Moana, I want to go beyond this island and explore the sea. Asha, someone out there, please maybe tell me what the fuck to do? Like, I don't even know how to get started on this one. How do you hero? Is there like a pamphlet I can read? Like maybe a YouTube tutorial or something. I'll settle for a WikiHow. Just, I don't want to have to figure out things on my own. That sounds hard.
I'm sure there will be challenges that find me, but I can take them on one at a time.
What are you, psychic? That's not how this hero thing works, dude. Sometimes you have to take on multiple challenges at the same time.
Now I've got all of this freedom in my bones, but I've still got the lid on so it doesn't overflow.
Once again, just the songs of this movie, my god.
Keep the name, I'm magnificent!
Speaking of songs, Magnifico is just such a disappointment. Like, really. This was supposed to be the first real hardcore Disney villain after years and years of bungled up twist villain after bungled up twist villain, or just the films not having an out and out villain. And in the end, Magnifico has just as much personality as Asha. When it came to his villain song,
Keep the name, I'm magnificent! I put the I in omnipotent!
Everyone bashed it. They said that it was just the most ridiculous thing imaginable and not fitting at all. And it had lines like this.
I'll let you live it for free and I don't even charge you rent.
And believe it or not, I was actually willing to defend that line before I saw the movie. I believed that context could have saved the song. For example, if Magnifico was like a surfer dude idiot, then the lines in the song are perfectly in character. Magnifico is not an idiot. He actually manages to outsmart his enemies by the end of the movie. You could argue that outside of this song, Magnifico is actually conniving and intelligent. This song also paints him as arrogant.
I can't help it if mirrors love my face. You're so brilliant. Oh, that's the least you could say. You're cute and strong and bold and brave. Thanks.
It's pumping Magnifico up. But once again, outside of this song, Magnifico is never bolstering himself up. He's not acting like Cusco, for example, who acts the same after his song is over. Magnifico never once claims how great he is outside of the song, or how much he does for everyone else.
I'm passionate. I'm not petulant. Someone praise me for my benevolence.
If only. Petulant is something. Magnifico doesn't even care about the fucking cookies. I don't know why this bothers me, but it does. At no point in the movie does he ever seem to even acknowledge his goddamn cookies. Just eat one of them. The sky explodes with vibrant colors, and Magnifico knows that it was magic that he himself did not create, and his behavior then becomes something that you'd expect of a paranoid person, immediately seeing it as a threat, something that he needs to fight and control and defeat, and it becomes an obsession. But at the same time, the first thing that he does in the movie is show Asha, this random stranger, the wishes that he was sworn to protect from all harm. When Magnifico gets paranoid, he's trusting random citizens to give him honest answers. When Frollo gets paranoid, he lights a fucking windmill on fire. Pop quiz. Why are twist villains in Disney films bad? Answer. It's because during the reveal, the villain gets a completely new personality that supplants their old personality. And it's like we essentially have an entirely new character. So, when Magnifico reads from a forbidden book, it gives him Magic Mountain Dew powers, and then it gives him a completely different personality. Disney, we aren't complaining about twist villains because they're twists. We're complaining about pretty much exactly what happens to Magnifico in this movie. But don't worry, this movie still has a twist villain. It's Sleepy. Sleepy was the bad guy the whole time. You think it'd be an improvement when the book changes Magnifico, but he goes from nothing at all to absolutely cliche. Most Disney villains either kill people or want to kill people. Magnifico wants to make people sad. And that doesn't even last into the end of the movie because we can't make 6-year-olds sad. Because this is a movie for 6-year-olds. They beat the bad guy by singing. That's one level above defeating him with a Care Bear stare. Context actually makes Is This the Thanks I Get even worse. This is a fun, bubbly pop song, right? If you've never seen the movie, did you know that during the song, Asha is sneaking around Magnifico's lair and is at risk of getting caught and maybe even getting put to death? I'm not kidding. That is legitimately what is happening in the story when this song is going on. The plot of the movie is so bad it borders on comedic. You remember going in for a job interview and with your new boss, the guy that you've never met before, you start going on about how your father died for no fucking reason? 10 minutes into the movie, one of the first things we see is Asha and Magnifico talking about their dead relatives. This is their first conversation ever. Real movies usually have the scene halfway through maybe. Wish is just so sloppy. So Asha makes a wish on a star, right? And the star wants to help save all of the wishes of Rosas. Asha's friends catch her, and then Asha says this.
And I promise, my wish won't harm or affect any of you, or Rosas.
Okay, so Asha, you're trying to save Rosas, but it's not going to affect Rosas.
So I made this wish to have something more for us than this.
Okay, yes, sure, whatever. Let's go! What is wrong with this movie? Is this a parody? But then I guess it's okay because despite saying that Asha wants to help all of Rosas, and out loud saying that she also wants to save her mother's wish, she ends up only saving her grandfather's wish. And then she hightails it out of there. I guess planning on going back later? Honestly, this entire scene makes Asha look really self-serving.
She pulled a star from the sky to destroy everything I built.
Asha? No, she only wanted her family's wishes back.
How do you know? Literally no one told you that. Magnifico didn't. Not on screen. And Asha left the castle as soon as she was refused the position of Magnifico's apprentice. Also, the fact that you're just sitting there says things about your character too.
Does Star grant wishes?
No, but I think it wants to help me pursue mine.
This conversation mystifies me. What even is it?
Does Star grant wishes?
No, but I think it wants to help me pursue mine.
No, the star doesn't grant wishes, but it's trying to help me grant my wish. Then the other guy, in the fairy tale, says,
Life is not a fairy tale!
And then after establishing that the wish star isn't going to grant the wish, Grumpy here asks,
What did you wish for? No, you know what?
How is this real? I swear to God, it's like every writer on this film didn't communicate with each other at all and just wrote single scenes independently. And then they turned them all into the editor who just shuffled them all up at random.
Keeps them safe every wish he acquires, and once a month he grants someone's greatest desire.
I granted 14 wishes last year. Come on, that's a high percent.
You can't tell me that's not what happened. None of the dialogue of this movie makes any sense. Nothing in this movie makes any sense.
I have been challenged today to take a chance and try something new.
After saying this, guess what Magnifico does? He does exactly what he usually does every single time. He grants a wish like he usually does. This wish isn't different or challenging or risky or anything. It's literally the same thing he always does. I am legitimately curious. What the hell happened here? Why is this so bad? This movie doesn't make any fucking sense. I thought I might have been alone on being confused on this movie's premise, but then to my legitimate shock, the movie itself starts poking holes in its own premise.
Why can't we see them? Why is that a rule?
And why can't we remember them?
What if we want to change our wish?
Okay, so here's the premise to the best of my ability to describe it. In the Kingdom of Roses, every citizen moving in or turning 18 gives their wish to King Magnifico. Then they forget what they wished. But at the same time, they apparently feel cold and hollow inside. But it's a good thing, and everyone thinks it's a good thing. And it's okay because Magnifico protects it and decides to grant it at a random point in the future. He has the power to grant it immediately, but he does not. And the people are cool with this, I guess.
Does it hurt? Do you cry?
This movie was in pre-production for years, right? And yet, at the same time, this is the most half-baked, honestly disturbing premise that I've ever come across in a Disney movie. You know, Disney, the company that needed to make sure that a 10-year-old boy wasn't cursed by an evil witch in their remake of Beauty and the Beast, because that would make people sad and it's disturbing. I don't even know where to begin with this premise. Okay, so you give up your wish to Magnifico and you forget it.
And when you give your wish to the king, you don't want to have to end up like Simon here.
What's wrong with Simon here?
Is it? I don't know. You're kind of boring now.
Does everyone else forget the wish too? I don't know about you, but in my experience, most kids and teenagers are going on and on about their biggest personal wishes until everyone knows about them. And I mean, if this is such a big event in-universe, that it's life-defining, it's even hard to believe that people wouldn't be talking about their most personal wish. Sleepy's wish, specifically, is to become a knight. Sure, whatever, it makes as much sense as Asha wanting to be a sorcerer's apprentice. Do none of the other characters have any memory of him, I don't know, being a squire, admiring the Knights of Roses, learning to ride a horse? Or is this all just a vague nebulous in their minds too?
But he also understood just how impossible it can be to make that wish come true. How easily dreams can be destroyed.
And he keeps them safe every wish he acquires.
What does protecting a wish mean in this context? Like, here's the thing. Yes, people on the outside can crush your dreams and destroy your wishes and failure and all of that. But a wish held onto by Magnifico to never be granted is just as in danger of being destroyed as the wish that he would never touch. Because when you die, that wish dies with you too. This is kind of showcased in the movie when Asha realizes that Magnifico isn't going to grant a bunch of wishes. But when that does happen, it becomes more of a no shit Sherlock moment when Asha realizes this particular hole in the program. Like, everyone should know this intrinsically. And that's because there is one thing that this movie absolutely does not realize. Having a wish is not a positive thing. Listen to the song At All Costs. Asha and Magnifico are singing a beautiful duet about how wishes are so beautiful.
If happiness was a tangible thing, it would be you.
Okay, wishes aren't tangible, dude. Never mind the stupid-ass lyrics. Having a wish isn't a good thing, no matter how beautiful the wish is. Wishing for world peace means that the world is at war. Wishing to be wealthy means that you're not. Wishing to be a published author means that you're not. The beauty of a wish is in the pursuit of accomplishing it, or what it says about the maker of the wish, both of which are removed by having the person forget about their wish. And maybe in an underlying draft or plan, these themes were more explored. But they're not in the final product, are they? So Wish goes on about a society of idiots giving up their biggest desire for no fucking reason, and a movie that doesn't even understand its own fucking title.
Your Saga longs to create something to inspire the next generation. Too vague. Create what? A rebellious mob?
So Asha goes on to wish for... And because of this wish, the king goes crazy and starts depressing everyone. Sleepy gets his wish granted and he becomes an evil knight betraying his friends. Magnifico gets his wish granted and captures the star, but in the end he gets facilitated into a mirror. Like, there's something thematic about a movie that tries to say how great wishes are, when literally every single wish in the movie backfires. Except the goat talking, I guess.
Who knew my voice would be this low?
And we all know how great the goat talking is. The villain's song is a bubbly pop song, something that you normally associate with the hero of the tale, because it fits their personality and has a more inviting vibe. At the same time, the protagonists in this film get the dark and sinister song that's usually associated with the villain. Why? Seriously, why? Decisions in movies are not arbitrary, or at the very least, they shouldn't be, especially in Disney movies. Take Hunchback, where even the name of the horse has a greater purpose.
You've been deceived. Magnifico is not the man he claims to be.
When you give a character this type of song, you are communicating something about their personality or their intentions. The backing track and this style of singing implicitly tells the audience that Asha is lying. In the past decade or so, there's been a lot of conversation about breaking expectations in media. But we have expectations in regards to media for a reason. Cinema, art, storytelling, it's all language. Talk video hamper like this expectations ability break to enjoy your would, but you're too, and if it I were too. Nothing is arbitrary. And knowing what I know now is the best song in the movie. All of the other ones are like beyond terrible.
Keep the name, I'm magnificent. And I'm always there when you need to vent.
So, you want to write like Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Under the surface, was Hercules ever like, yo, I don't wanna fight Cerberus?
I have one piece of advice for you. Only one. Don't even try. Seriously.
So like, no, I'm totally kidding.
I don't usually say this, but this is something you shouldn't even attempt. This is literally his thing. Like, his thing. Writing songs like Lin-Manuel Miranda and putting them in your movie is like putting Tim Burton spirals in your stop-motion film. Unless you're literally doing a homage, you're always going to look like a sad, shameful ripoff.
It's genetics. Yeah, I got these genes from outer space.
So yeah, I'm just gonna come right out and say it. Wish has the worst soundtrack of everything. I'd rather listen to Pearl Jam going on about bugs before I willingly listen to Is This the Thanks I Get.
I got bugs. I got bugs in my room.
I can go on about rhyme schemes or slant rhymes or the awkward forced writing here. Plenty of video essays on YouTube have analyzed every single one of these songs to the death, but I don't even have to do that. I could just point out the lyrics here.
Ungrateful much.
I suppose that is one way of making your audience want to kill a villain.
Are you sure that you're not
Seriously, Magnifico, go die. People will ask me where this song in particular would be on my worst Disney songs list, and to be completely honest with you, Is This the Thanks I Get would not be on my worst Disney songs list, because I can only pick one song per movie, and I'm a Star is the worst Disney song.
When it comes to the universe, we're all shareholders. Get back to your system.
I hate this one moment so fucking much. I can't even describe it. Like, this is the one worst moment in any Disney film ever. And in like 20 years, I'm gonna wake up from a dead sleep just hearing ringing in my ears. Just the name of the fucking song. I'm a Star. What is this, kindergarten? It's every line of this thing.
Have you ever wondered why you look up at the sky for answers?
No. Either you believe in God or a higher power, or you're not looking up at the sky for answers.
Or why flowers in the wind are effortless and eloquent dancers.
Eloquent dancers. Did you mean elegant? Get a dictionary. Or turn off your ducking spell check.
Well, you don't have to look too hard. We're here for all your question marks.
We're here for all your question marks. Marks. It's like you're on LSD, so you can't comprehend the bizarre strangeness of the world around you.
Watch out, world, here I are.
I've never asked this, like, legitimately before. But, like, I have to ask this. No joking at all when I say this. This is totally serious. Did aliens from outer space help write this film? Because in all of the possible abilities to why this soundtrack sounds like this, that is the least strange or out there possibility.
When it comes to the universe, we're all shareholders.
Someone's got a word-a-day calendar, don't they?
In the sky, in your front yard, in your heart, and in your scars.
In my scars. In my scars. I'm a star. In my scars. In my scars. Did you, like, Google up Rhyme Zone and then think that you had to use literally every single word it gave you?
You all a work of art, even in the deepest dark.
Because when you turn off the lights in the Louvre, the Mona Lisa is no longer a painting.
We eat the leaves and we beat the sun.
That is the moon. This scene takes place at night.
See, that's where all the balls of gas come from.
That's it. I quit.
McGoogles is me name. I like a swampy bog. It's time to play a game with your favorite Highland frog.
Why did I make that stupid robot? Okay, fine. I will critique this song like I've never critiqued before.
So your dust is my dust?
The song from Disney's Wish, I'm a Star, attempts to grasp a deeper meaning than its juvenile title seems to claim. It actually has a layered meaning. It's simply claiming that the raw elements that everything in the universe are the same, all over the universe. The elements in ourselves are the same things that you can find on distant planets or as part of distant stars. The creation of the universe did in some way lead to our creation. So in a literal sense, we are all created of stardust. These themes are actually more intricately explored in the work of Kesha, or the ending of Minecraft, if you'd like more competent explorations of the idea. Wish, in a daring academic endeavor, tries to tie this into the themes of the circle of life, which were explored with much more depth and intrigue in The Lion King.
We eat the leaves and we beat the sun.
When we die, our bodies become the grass, and the antelope eat the grass. And so, we are all connected.
What Wish does not seem to understand is that this doesn't work backwards!
We were all just little nebulae in a nursery from supernovas, now we've grown into our history.
While we are all made of stardust, no human on Earth as of yet has become part of a star. Virtually almost everything left behind of every human being is still here on the planet Earth. In billions of years when our star explodes, sure, we will become part of that in some indirect way. But at current, that is very irrelevant.
Here's a little fun allegory
That gets me excited, sorry.
Allegory, a story, poem, or piece of art that has a hidden meaning. Allegory. Yeah, here's the hidden meaning. This song is shit, and this movie is even more shit.
Hey, you still look like you're hanging on by a strand. But if you just see the mushrooms, then you'll understand.
I see now that the circumstances of one's birth are irrelevant. It is what you do with the gift of life that determines who you are.